Khattab in his character as well and his looks. Subhanallah. Yani when he would walk, Ibn Sa'ad in his Tariq, he says when he would walk in Medina, people would see him who had seen Umar ibn Khattab radiyanhu, and they would say that is as if we see Umar radiyan walking. And some of the people, they would say that he would resemble his father Abdullah ibn Umar. And of course that's both true, because Abdullah ibn Umar resembled Umar ibn Khattab. So this is a resemblance in appearance, but also in character he would resemble Abdullah ibn Umar in his zuhud and Umar ibn Khattab in his zuhud and his strictness. There is a particular incident, and I read this in Bidayah wa Nihaya, not under the biography of Salim ibn Abdullah. It was actually under the biography of Hisham ibn Abdul Malik. But I looked it up, and I found Ibn Asakir has in Tarikh Damishq as well the same incident. Ibn Jawzi has it, and Ibn Jawzi actually gives the full sanad. Now these are not a hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam where we're very strict with these things, but myself I like to know what's authentic from weak. So I looked up the chain itself, and I found it to be Hasan without a doubt. I mean Hasan at minimum. Many of the ulama graded it to be Sahih because all of the narrators were thiqa, but one of them he's at the level of Hasan, so it's a reliable narration that I'm about to recite to you, so you don't have to worry about, sometimes in Tariq people use weak narrations. Not here. Hisham ibn Abdul Malik, he went for Hajj and he was making Tawaf. Ibn Kathir has that this was during the Hajj of Hisham ibn Abdul Malik. And during his Tawaf, he saw one of the people of knowledge who he recognized. And that was Salim ibn Abdullah ibn Umar ibn al-Khattab. Now, Hisham ibn Abdul Malik is the Khalifa at that time. And he's very powerful. You know the Umayyah, we discussed him in the Tariq Durus, they were wealthy. And they had, the Khilafah had spread. And they had strong militaries. And they were very stern as well. They were very stern with the way they governed. Hisham ibn Abdul Malik, when he saw this person of knowledge, knowing that this is the son of Abdullah, the son of Umar ibn Khattab, and knowing his status, he saw that he had ripped shoes. His shoes were ripped. And he was carrying them. He was making tawaf barefoot. And what he was wearing, he said was worth dirhamain, 2 dirham, which is very cheap. In the Islamic monetization or currency, there is the dinar and dirham. Dinar is the value of gold. It's made out of gold. It's expensive. Dirham is cheaper. It's made out of silver. And 2 dirham is very light. So when he saw that Salim ibn Abdullah, who's a great scholar, he's a grandson of Amir al-Mu'mineen, the son of Abdullah ibn Umar, is making tawaf barefoot, and his shoes are ripped, and his clothes are ripped and poor, he went to him. Because he knew that many of the scholars, they dressed well, and there was nothing wrong with that. And Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam at times dressed very well. And the Sahaba, Umar ibn Khattab and others, they also dressed at times very well. Nothing wrong with that. So he saw that maybe Salim ibn Abdullah is going through a hard time. Maybe he's got some hardship upon him. So let me go to him. So he went to him. Now imagine, because it's very important, especially in our context today. It was not that Hisham ibn Abdul Malik is making tawaf and Salim Abdullah sees him and says, oh, I have an opportunity. I have the Khalifa, I have the king, I have the one who's leading the ummah right now, the one that, let me go with my needs to him. No, bil-aks, to the opposite, Salim Abdullah is just making his tawaf. And the Khalifa is going to him. Now here, I want you to focus because people miss many beneficial points when we go through these kinds of things. One, it tells you the honor that Allah bestowed upon the people of knowledge like Salim Abdullah, that he's not worried about anybody. But it also shows you the khulafa of that time were so good. Sometimes people, when they study history, they criticize the Umayyah. Wallahi, sometimes when you look at them and you look at us today, you're like, wow. Like he was concerned about a person of knowledge. He wasn't just like, me and let him come to me. He didn't have that kibr. So Hisham ibn Abdul Malik, he went to him and he told him, Alaka ilayka haja? Do you have some need? You know, like in a very polite way, that maybe he didn't tell him like, yo, you look broke, you know. He just told him, do you have any kind of need? Talk to me, you know. Subhanallah, Salim ibn Abdullah, فَنَظَرَ إِلَيْهِ Salim. This is Ibn Kathir says this in Bidayah wa Nihaya. And like I mentioned, this is authentic narration. Yeah? That Salim ibn Abdullah, he looked back at Hisham ibn Malik, who was the Khalifa of the time, and he looked at him angrily. غَاضِبًا مُسْتَغْرِبًا. Yani, he was shocked. Yani, something he found to be gharib, strange. And with غَاضِبًا, like with the disgust, with like, not really, in a way of looking at disgust. Yani, when you're angry, when you look at somebody angrily. And he told him, أَمَّا تَسْتَحِي? Don't you have any haya? Strange. The Khalifa is coming, asking if you need anything, trying to help you out, and your response to him is to look at him angrily and tell him, don't you have any haya? He told him, نَحْنُ فِي بَيْتِ اللَّهِ. We are in the house of Allah. And they're making tawaf. وَتُرِيد مِنِّي أَنْ أَرْفَعْ حَاجَتِي إِلَى غَيْرِ اللَّهِ. And you want from me that I bring my need to other than Allah? Subhanallah. It's ajib. The mindset of the Salaf al-Salihin, the mindset of the Tabi'un, the mindset of those great Imma, something different. He didn't say, oh man, this is my opportunity. I got the king right here. He's got money. He's got clout. He's got connects. He could hook me up. Be like, yo, you know, I need this, I need that. Hook me up with this. Get me in position. Get me into this business. Get me into that. Like, this is how, even within halal, I mean, nobody's talking about haram here. Nobody's telling them, you know, get me, you know, haram money or, you know, no. Within the halal, within the jaiz, within the mubah, he could have said, yeah, and you know, I need this, I need that. Or at least he could have said, get me a job. I'll work for it. But he said, don't you have any haya? We are in the Baytullah, and we are in Haram of Mecca making tawaf, and you're asking me to ask somebody other than Allah? If I have a need, I'll ask Allah. Subhanallah. Now, Hisham ibn Abdul Malik, he could have gotten upset too. He could have said, man, I was trying to help you out. Now you're going to try to insult me like this as if I don't know and this, you know, arrest him, you know. But he didn't. Hisham ibn Abdul Malik, he just backed up, continued his tawaf. When the tawaf finished and they went outside, Hisham ibn Malik followed him. Now, you know, when I was reading, I said, because when you read, your mind sometimes thinks ahead, you know, it's how maybe it's followed him and then got him arrested. No. Hisham ibn Malik told him outside the haram then. He told him, Tayyib, now we are outside the haram. If you have any need, ask me. Like, you know, if you felt shy inside the haram, but now here, ask me. Subhanallah. Salim ibn Abdullah, he told him, Ya Hisham, هل أرفع إليك الحاجة من حوائج الدنيا أم من حوائج الآخرة? Beautiful. He told him, do you want me to ask you for my needs of dunya or akhirah? So, Hisham ibn Abdul Malik, he's a Khalifa. He tells him, Ya Salim, من حوائج الدنيا فإن الحوائج الآخرة فلا يسأل فيها إلا الله. That's beautiful. What does, now the Khalifa of the time, what does he respond to him? He tells him, oh Salim, from your needs of the dunya. Because, now the Khalifa is telling him, because the needs of the akhirah you do not ask except from Allah. Subhanallah. See, you guys, most people miss this part. There is a very beautiful aspect of aqidah being taught here. Even the Khalifa is not here to teach him fiqh and aqidah and things, but he is telling him, of course, that of the dunya, because the needs of the akhirah you don't ask except from Allah. Today, many people who claim to be from our ummah don't understand this. They go and they have a need of the akhirah. And they say, Ya Ali, Ya Hussein, Ya Abdul Qadir Jalani, Ya Pir, Ya Fulan, Ya Fulan. They go to the qubur and they have some need of the akhirah. Forget about the dunya right now. And they go and they ask the one in the qubur instead of asking Allah. But the Salaf, they understood this. So even the Khalifa, he understood this. So he told him, of course, I mean dunya, because I know and you know that the needs of the akhirah you don't ask except from Allah. Now Salim Abdullah understood this as well. He's teaching the Khalifa a further lesson. They both understood this, but he's going to educate him further. He told him, Ya Hisham, Wallahi ma talabtu haja min hawaij ad-dunya mimman yamlak ad-dunya wa kayf atlabaha mimman la yamlakaha. Subhanallah. Salim Abdullah tells the Khalifa, he tells him, Ya Hisham, if I never, and this is something amazing, he tells him, Wallahi, I swear by Allah, that I do not ask from my worldly needs, even from the one that rules the world, the one that owns the world, the one that the world is in his control, the Malik, which is who? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If I don't ask Allah for those things, why would I ask the one who doesn't rule the world? Let me explain that. I got to unpack that a little bit. Right? He tells him that, Wallahi, I swear by Allah, ma talabtu, I never ask al-haja min hawaij ad-dunya, from my worldly needs, mimman yamlak ad-dunya, from the one that is the owner of the world. That even when I ask Allah, I don't worry about the worldly things. I'm always asking Allah about the akhirah. So if I don't ask Allah, the one who owns the dunya, for the worldly needs, why would I ask somebody who doesn't own the dunya? Subhanallah. See, the Salaf al-Salihin, they were so busy making dua for the akhirah, for the things that have to do with Jannah and Jahannam and the day of Qiyamah and being protected from the nar and the qabr and the adab, that for them the dunya became so irrelevant that they didn't even bring that up to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, let alone to the makhluk. Now I know that's a very difficult thing for us today to think through, but at least we can understand their level and aspire towards it. You know, when we make dua, sometimes 90, 80, 100% of our dua is for dunya. You know? Or if our dua for the akhirah is quick, Ya Allah, give us no. Oh Ya Allah, I really need to get past this test. I really have this, I got this exam coming up. Ya Allah, let me get success. Ya Allah, let me get this job. Let me get past this. Let me get through this TSA screening today, right? Whatever it may be. You know, so what, maybe we try to flip it. I'm not saying we can go 100% like them, but at least we can try to say, okay, in my dua, let me concentrate more on the akhirah, and you will see that Allah will make the dunya easy for you. When you make your focal point the akhirah, Allah will make your dunya. It's not that Salim Abdullah didn't work. It's not that he just sat around and gold fell from the sky. No, that's not the way it is. But his focus wasn't that. Now, when he tells Hisham that if I don't ask Allah for this, why would I ask you? You know, in simple terms. What was Hisham's response? He said, "Laythani mithla Salim bi milki kullaha," which is that Laythani, oh, I wish mithla Salim, that I was like Salim, bi mulki, with all of my kingdom, all of it, kullaha, would be given. And if I could give away my kingdom, all of it, and become like Salim, I would do it. I wish I could give away everything that I have from this world just to be like that. And this was something that shows the great character of even the khulafa of that time. Now, Salim Abdullah, we got food ready, so I'm not going to make this too long. He left a legacy of knowledge. He left a legacy of wisdom. Something that today, 1400 years later, we're speaking about and being inspired by. You know, he wasn't worried about what the khulafa thought or the people thought, let alone what the Yahud and Nasara and Fusaq and Fujar think. Today, we compromise our religion for what kuffar will think of us. Today, our ai and leaders will go to a kafir leader and beg them and compromise our religion begging them. And then we wonder what happened to us. Wallahi, ikhwa, you look at our hal today, our condition, whether it's Gaza, whether it's India, whether it's China, whether it's the situation in Sudan, whether it's the situation in any other part of the world, whether it's our own situations here. And we look at people who have become cold-hearted. They just don't care. They're just worried about money and haram and things like this. And you think about them. And then you look at people who have an ability to help the people that are not doing it. And you wonder how will they stand in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala from the ummah. But then even if you look at the people that are concerned, but the path they take is not a path of turning to Allah or going back to the Quran and Sunnah, being firm on the Aqidah or being firm on our, look, even the Caliph at the time, he told him, look about the Akhirah, you only ask Allah. Today you have people who will sit with mushrikeen, with qubureen, thinking this is going to help the ummah, right? And then you see our leadership sometimes going and begging the kuffar as if they're going to help you. We're protesting, we're doing all this. What's the UN doing? Nothing. What's Biden doing? Nothing. What's Trump gonna do? Nothing. I don't know, who's the British Prime Minister? Shishinak or whatever, Rishi. What's he doing? Nothing. You're nothing. Nothing. You're just fooling yourself. You want to change the situation, turn to Allah. You want to change the situation, stand on the Dawah. You want to change the situation, stand on the Sunnah. You want to change the situation, be from those rijal that will be firm and will do something for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala within the bounds of the Sharia. And then you will see situations change. Until then, don't expect it. Don't fool yourself. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect us and make us those that follow the way of the Salaf al-Salihin, amalan, in our actions, and aqidatan, in our aqaid, and fi'lan, in what we do, and so on, so that we can go back to the nusra of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Wa jazakum Allahu khairan. We'll go live in a little while on the TikTok and the Sheikh Uthman.live for question and answer. But right now we'll open up for the food, inshallah.